Super quick, I'm going to be showing you how to prepare for Microsoft and Google, who are reporting earnings tomorrow after the market closes. I really hope that you learned something new, and if you do, please make sure you smash that like button, and you also consider subscribing if you feel like we earned it. Also, I am planning on live streaming the earning report, so you do have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel to make sure that you partake in that. So let's go ahead and jump into my screen. Overall, Google and Alphabet, again, are set to report earnings on October 24th after the market closes. This is big tech. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. I just want to get right into it, just for those that just want to know what the market's expectation is. So market's expectation for Alphabet, also known as the mother company of Google, has an earnings per share of $1.45. The overall revenue has an expectation for October 24th of $75.98 billion. Now, again, I'm just going to explain Microsoft, and then I'll give a little bit more details about what this all means. Expectation for October 24th for Microsoft, we have $2.65 per share for the earnings per share and $54.53 billion for the overall revenue. Now, what exactly does this mean? So you could see that the previous quarterly earnings, right, July 25th, 2023, there was the forecast, and then there was what was actually reported. And based off of what is actually reported versus what is expected, that will determine if the market goes up or if the market goes down, right? If it beats expectation. Earnings per share is one thing. The second focus is overall revenue. I want to remind you that not only is the earnings report important, but a lot of these big tech companies also have earnings call. They're known as guidance calls. And this normally happens 30 minutes to maybe 1 hour to 2 hours after the actual earning report comes out. Make sure you Google it if you want to learn a little bit more about Microsoft and Google and when they're set to have their earnings call. But the reason it's so important is the earnings report is based off of the previous quarter that has already happened. It's important, and that's why it gets reported. The second part is the guidance call. That talks about the previous quarter, but it also talks about what's to come, right? And for investors, this is, in my opinion, what's more valuable. What is in store for up and coming quarters? And again, a lot of the executives during these earnings call, you can hear them give expectations of, hey, we either expect a slowdown or we expect things to pick up. This is when we saw NVIDIA, right, during their earnings call, not just talk about their pickup on demand, but that demand is only expected to go up because of their production of these AI chips, right? Because of this whole AI technology, there's been a lot of demand for these AI chips. And again, it just really sent NVIDIA through the roof, right? If you guys remember that, that is the stuff that can be shared, right? So again, tomorrow after the market closes, not only are we going to focus on the earnings per share and the revenue, but also please make sure that you understand the second part is the earnings call, which is super, super important. Now, why is this important for the overall market? You might be like, well, Ricky, I don't care about Google. I don't care about Microsoft. I'm not invested in those two companies. Why do I care what these companies report, right? It's not something that you're invested in. So why do you care? These companies, let me just show you. Google has a market cap of 1.72 trillion, not billion, not million, trillion. That's with a T, right? 1.72 trillion. Microsoft has a market cap of 2.45 trillion. These are some of the biggest and most valuable companies that are publicly traded. These are trillion-dollar companies. And based off of what is reported versus what is expected and how it moves, if it sells off tomorrow, it doesn't matter if you're not invested in Microsoft or in Google. If you're invested in NASDAQ or in any other tech companies, the movement and based off of what is reported tomorrow on these big tech companies will move overall markets. It will drop the market or cause the market to rise depending on what is reported versus what is expected. And that is why it's valuable. A lot of people are trying to predict right now of like, hey, markets are cheap. Markets recently pulled on back. Is now the best time to invest? I want to remind you that yes, markets are cheap right now, but the cheap can always get cheaper, especially during earnings season. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, we should have Apple that is going to be reporting earnings, which is the biggest tech company. But this week, we have Alphabet, also known as Google, Microsoft that reports tomorrow. We have Meta that reports on Wednesday, and Amazon that reports on Thursday. So again, big tech earnings are here. They're here to stay. They start tomorrow after the market closes. And I just wanted you to know in advance on how you can not only be aware of what is going to be reported, but also how you can prepare. In my opinion, this is not a time where beginner investors should be very aggressive or just be willing to trade anything, right? There's going to be quick changes of direction, and each earning report is singular, right? It's not connected to one of the others. And it's super, super important to understand that, because tomorrow, let's say that the market sells off, by Thursday, if Amazon beats expectation, then that can help out the market, right? So please make sure that you understand that. If you have any questions whatsoever about earnings season or anything like this, again, I do trade live every single morning. I would love to see you there. And that is that second link in the description down below. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope this video got you one step closer to your overall goal. Hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. Second link in the description down below. Hope that earned your thumbs up. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because if you do, then again, if you don't subscribe, then you'll miss out on tomorrow's live stream for the earnings report for for Microsoft and for Google. Appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.